Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to this new tutorial. This is Jankov from realityfakers.net, and today we're gonna be creating this e-scooter. I just want to make something for you guys, a tutorial, and I think that this tutorial might be useful for some of you. So let me give it a render, but first, as you can see, this is the reference that we're gonna be using. So we're gonna be creating this e-scooter from scratch based on this reference. Let me give it a render. As you can see, it looks pretty much decent. So we're gonna be following this reference over here. We're gonna be learning the modeling tools that we need to create advanced, or as you can see, it looks pretty much good. And also for the texturing, we're gonna learn how to create those materials that looks similar to our reference. Okay, so with no further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so here we are back in Blender, and I would like to start by bringing that reference. So as you can see here, we have two kind of e-scooters, and I prefer yes, we can start with this one. So first I'm gonna drag that reference and put it right here. So I'm gonna change, as you can see, I split the scene by clicking on this area and drag. And I would like to change this one to UV editor or image editor. Yes, image editor. And after that, I'm gonna drag that reference, put it right there. Okay, as you can see now, we're capable of seeing our reference. Okay, so let's get started. First, I would like to start by the base. I'm gonna model this base over here. So basically, we're gonna be try to break down our model into small parts. So as you can see, we have this part over here. So we're gonna be starting by this base over here. So first I'm gonna delete everything, and let's bring a cube again. Yes, this cube. Okay, I'm gonna click on this one so that I can change its position. Okay, so first I would like to scale it like this, and also scale it on the z-axis, something like this. Okay, and I would like to add make a cut, so Control R, so that you can add that cut, and let's add another one. I'm gonna add it, Control R, and let's add it right there. After that, I'm gonna take this face and I'm gonna put it up like this, or something like this. And even this one, I think that we need to drag it down just a bit. Okay, something like this. Okay, so I would like to let me add a new modifier, which is the subdivision modifier, this one, and I would like to increase that to 2, and let's add some edge loops. So one over here, and let's see, or you know what, let's try something else. I'm gonna select everything, and we're gonna be beveling those edges like this. But first, as you can see, we're running into some problems like this one. So the how to solve it is pretty simple. So you go to this panel, the N. As you can see here in the scale is not even. So we want our scale to be one on each axis, one here, and one here. So the way to do it is hit Control A and apply the scale. And check this out. Now the scale is even. So now if we go to the edit mode and bevel those edges, it's gonna be completely good. We can increase something like this, but I prefer to do it the other way, which is to add that bevel modifier like this. So I think we need to add it beyond that. So where is our subdivision? Okay, something like this. Okay, let me increase that. I'm gonna add another edge loop over here, and I'm gonna take this edge like this, maybe less. I also would like to change that from none to angle. Nope. So let's reverse back. Yes, I think something like this. Also, I think I'm gonna add that edge loop, and I'm gonna drag these out just a bit. Okay, I think we're good. Let me also take these down. Okay, so this one will serve as our base. Okay, so let's add the other objects. So these are just basics. We're gonna be adding the details later on. So let's put this one. Gonna add it to the top. here at this position. So I'm gonna bring that cursor there, Shift S, cursor to selected, Shift A, and let's bring a cylinder. Here I would like to reduce that count to 12 because we're gonna be adding that subdivision modifier. So this is the way that I do the modeling. I keep everything simple so that if I want to change or revert back and make some adjustments, it won't gonna be hard. So so I learned this the hard way. So if you are having a lot of vertex, it's gonna be a lot harder to change it. So I prefer this simple approach. Okay, I'm gonna scale Shift Z like this, and let's scale it on the Z-axis, something like this. Gonna move it up and go to the side view, and I'm gonna spin it on the X-axis. Or you know what, we're gonna keep that spinning later on. So now let's add those details. So as you can see, we have on the top, we have another piece on the top. I think that the scale is fine. Yes, and this one has to be bigger just a bit like this, so that you can make more room for those to put your foot over here. Okay, so I would like now to wireframe, and let's bring those down. Go to the side, and I'm gonna duplicate this part, move it up, and I'm gonna scale it just a bit like this. Scale Shift Z, scale it like this, just a bit. We need to have that tube just smaller, just a bit than the other one. Let's scale it on the Z-axis like this. Go back to solid, and let's duplicate it. And I would like to move this cursor to the middle. So object, set origin to the geometry, and there we go. So now I would like to spin it on the Y-axis. Spin Y 90 degree. And let's move it up there. Okay, can move it down just a bit, even scale it up. Okay, now I would like to add these two parts, these handles. So I think I'm gonna add the mirror modifier, so that I want to repeat the same work. So I'm gonna delete this part, this one too. I'm gonna put that origin of this object right here, so that we can, when we add that mirror modifier and we apply it to the Y-axis, it's gonna be on the other side. So let's bring that cursor to selected, and as this object, I think its center of mass is correctly. So now I'm gonna add that mirror modifier, this one, and I need to set it on the Y-axis. Yes, on the Y-axis, on the Z, yes, on the Z-axis, not on the Y-axis. Yes, it has to be on the Z-axis. Okay, so now if we make some adjustment here, it's gonna be on the other side, which is really good. Okay, so now what I would like to do is to simply select. So the way to select all of these faces, you hit Alt and click on this area, and we're gonna be selecting everything. So I'm gonna duplicate this part, scale it on the X-axis, something like this, and I'm gonna extrude it out. Or first let's yes, I'm gonna extrude it out. Let me bring this one over here, turn on the snap to the vertex, and let's put it right there. Okay, so here I would like to extrude these faces, so extrude. Let me turn off the snap, and I'm gonna scale Shift X like this, and I'm gonna add that edge loop over there, and another one on the other side right here. After that, I need to extrude these two faces. Extrude, scale Shift X, and there we go. I think that this one has to be smaller than the other one, so let's scale it down. Okay, I think we're doing good, but let's scale it on the X, or let's simply move this one out here. scale it on the X. So the scale is really important. Okay, let's move it right there. Okay. Yes, I think we're doing good. Okay, so now let's work on the, let me check. Yes, I think we're doing good. Okay, so now I'd like to work on the other side. So as you can see in the bottom, we have this connector over here, and let's add some basic wheels. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in and go to the side view, and here I would like to, let me go to the wireframe, select these vertex, and what I would like to do is to make another one over here. It's gonna be bigger just a bit. Gonna move it up, duplicate these vertex, scale them like this, and extrude on the z-axis. Choose something like this. Maybe scale it on the z-axis just a bit down. Okay. Yes, I think something like this. No, scale on the Z, scale shift Z, something like this. Okay, so after that I'm gonna add double edge loops like this, and I'm gonna simply select these two faces and extrude them out like this. After that I'm gonna select everything, push up, take these two faces and move them down, something like this. We're gonna be adding this part so that we can hide this part over here. Okay, so let me continue working on this these parts. So now I would like to add this metal part over here that holds our wheel. So we're gonna be using a cube, so I'm gonna put the cursor again in that position, and let's bring a cube. I'm gonna scale it on the z-axis like this, scale on the y, scale on the y, yes, like that, scale also on the x, go to the edit mode, add two edge loops, scale them on the x-axis like this, and I'm gonna select these two faces and extrude them down, something like this. Okay, and let me move this one back so that we can focus on this one. Or let's I'm gonna revert the selection, Control E, so that we can be selecting the other objects, and let's move them over here. I'm gonna go to the tree view, and let's see what we got. I think for this one we need to change some settings. Yes, I'm gonna add that and scale it on the Y and do something like this. I'm gonna select all and bring them up, scale a bit on the z-axis. I think something like this will be fine. Okay, so let's go back to solid. Yes, I think we're good. Okay, so now let's add the wheels. So the wheels are just cylinders. I'm gonna add Shift A, or you know what, let me put them right in the right position. I will be selecting those points so that we can have the middle over here. So I'm gonna bring that cursor right there. So Shift S, cursor selected, Shift A, and let's bring mesh a cylinder. There we go. I'm gonna spin it on the x-axis by 90 degree and on the z-axis by 90 degree. I'm gonna scale it on the x. There we go. Scale it up just a bit. And I will be adding that I'm gonna delete these two faces, and this one over here we need to add to it that subdivision modifier. So we can add it from here, and there is a shortcut, so hit Control and choose the number that you want. So I'm gonna subdivide it 2 times, so Control 2 and bingo. So I will be selecting those two faces, extrude them, scale shift X, something like this. Pretty much cool, pretty much good. Okay, and let's add another one, another extrude, scale shift X like this, and I would like to scale them inside so that we can have that nice curve. Nice. Let me make them even bigger. I'm gonna select this one and this one, and let's scale them down. Scale shift X, something like this. I think that we're missing some edge loops, so I'm gonna go to the wireframe. Let me zoom in. Yes, this one. I think we left this one alone, so let me revert back. Also, I'm gonna hide that so that we can be able to see it. So what do we have? Yes, I think we're good. Scale shift X to something like this. Okay, so let's revert back or bring our subdivision modifier back. Okay, so now I would like to add that smooth shading to our wheel. So let me scale it just a bit up. I would like to smooth this shading over here, so I'm gonna go to object and smooth, shade smooth. And there we go. As you can see, our wheel is smooth. Okay, so now I would like to work on the inside part. Gonna take these two edges, duplicate them, separate them from the rest, and I would like to bridge them, create a bridge between those two edges. So with these two selected, I'm gonna hit Ctrl E, and let's bridge edge loops like this. And as you can see, we have a bridge. So after that, what I would like to do is extrude, scale shift X like that. Or you know what, there is another way to do it, another simple way to do it. So I'm gonna I'm gonna bring it back to 1, and I'm gonna apply that subdivision modifier. So what I would like to do now is to take, let me remove these, don't need those extra details. I think we have, because we have that, because we duplicate this one. So I'm gonna go to vertex, I'm gonna remove double vertex, and let's see, 0 vertex removed. Select one, move it outside. Yes, I think that this one has multiple, let me check. Yes, that's weird. So I'm gonna remove these two edges. Yes, there we go. Okay, so what I would like to do now is to, let me bring it back, select this one, turn on the snap, and let's snap it right there. I'm gonna select the other one, not this one. I'm gonna hit Ctrl E, and let's select the other one. I'm gonna delete this one, delete those vertex, and now I would like to select these faces. I'm gonna skip one and select one like this. In the previous Blender 2.79 we have that checker remover, and I don't know how to do it in Blender 2.8. So that feature allows you to do this selection automatically. Okay, so now we select those faces, those edges. So I would like to duplicate them first. Let me turn off the snap. So as you can see, we have those edges, and after that I'm gonna extrude, scale shift X like this. So the first one is gonna be at this position. I would like to add another one, so I will be extruding again, scaling on the x-axis like this, but at this position I would like to make a spin. I would like to rotate. Let's try to spin it like this, just so that we can have a different pattern. So scale shift X. So why I'm doing this scale shift X like this, because I would like to ignore that X scale. So check this out. If I scale just by doing so, you can see that all those edges goes to that point in the middle. And by doing this scale shift X, we ignore that. And this is what I want. I don't want to go to the top, to that middle point. Okay, I think we're good. We can scale them just a bit like this. Let me spin them. Okay, pretty much good. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is to add the solidify modifier. Let me show you that feature. I'm gonna go to add effect and let's add that solidify. So basically this solidify modifier allows us to add depth to our model. So I'm gonna increase this one to 25. So it's hard to do it just by hand. So this solidify help us to save time. So we need to do the same thing for this object. Yes, for this one I'm gonna simply flip that. I'm gonna go to a face and let me check. I need to invert the normals. So check this out. If I recalculate outside, it's gonna be pushed outside. You can see that, but it's not set correctly, so we need to make some adjustment to it. So I'm gonna select it and I'm gonna separate it from the rest, and yes, let's operate on it alone. I'm gonna select everything and let's try to normals, flip normals. Let's see. Nope, not good. Yes, I think because we still have that double problem. Yes, so this is the issue. So we have that they seem to be doubled. So I'm thinking of way to solve this. So let me go to mesh, normals, recalculate inside. Nope. Let me remove that solidify modifier and see. So you can see now we have just one. I don't know what's causing this issue. Let me select everything and let's try to remove the doubles. Vertex, remove doubles. Nothing is removed. You know what, let's just ignore this one and let's create a new one. So select this edge, duplicate it, gonna separate it. Okay, I'm gonna remove that subdivision modifier and let's extrude it on the x-axis to the other side here. Okay, I think now we're good. Okay, so now if we combine these two, so with that first one that's selected, I'm gonna select the other one and let's hit Ctrl G so that we can combine them. And by simply combining them, that modifier will be applied to that object as well, which is what we want. So now I would like to add the subdivision modifier and see what we got. Nope, not good. Let's try to add the bevel modifier first. And let's add now that subdivision modifier. It looks better, but let's try to change some settings over here. No, it doesn't look good. So I'm gonna simply keep it like this. Yes, I think something like this will be fine. Or you know what? Let's only apply that that subdivision modifier to only this one. So I'm gonna add subdivision modifier. Select it and let's add 2 edge loops. Gonna scale them on the x-axis like this. Can scale the whole object. I think we're doing good right now. I'd like to increase that thickness. Okay, pretty much good. Okay, so now I would like to add those parts so that we can add that axis in the middle. So I think the way to do it is select these edges. I'm gonna duplicate them, separate them, P to separate, and I would like to fill them. So select one by one, fill, and continue to do this for everything like this. And after that we're going to be adding that subdivision or that solidify modifier to it, so that we can increase or add depth to it. We can simply extrude. Yes, there is no way to complicate things, so I'm going to extrude, scale, shift X like this, select everything, scale outside. Yeah, something like this looks fine. We can also try to, let me do this, I'm gonna duplicate this part, I'm gonna revert that turn. So as you can see we have this turn over here. I would like to spin it on the other axis, so I'm gonna scale Y -1. Bingo, and let's spin it like this. Looks pretty much good. Yes, it looks similar to the one that we have in our reference. We can delete some parts. I don't think that we're gonna be using all those all that number, or let me revert back. So I'm gonna keep it like this, it looks fine. Okay, I'm gonna save that. So scooter tutorial. Okay, we're doing good so far. Okay, so this is it for the first part. So we created the base shape of our e-scooter. So in the next part we're gonna be continue our work and add more details, and after that we're gonna texture it. Okay, so